Welcome back to Marketing by the Minute, the show where we market by the minute. I'm Darcy Hayden, and I'm here with
Steinar Mikkelson.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so graduated from Western last June. Actually took IMC once as a content creator doing Marketing by the Minute on the second season. So if you haven't checked that out, go check that out. And again, as a product manager as well. But we are here in the beautiful town of Kirkland, Washington, my stomping grounds, and happy to be here.
But tell us a little bit about yourself and like what you've been doing since school let out.
Since school let out, right after I graduated, just took some time, kind of decompressed after college, traveled a little bit. Actually went to Japan this last summer for a couple weeks. So that was an awesome experience. Had an amazing time. Other than that, just been kind of working on honing the skills that I learned at Western to figure out where I want to go with my career.
Where do you want to go with your career?
I'm still figuring that out. Couple different ideas that I've been mulling on, but I think that there's a notion that people need to have it figured out as soon as they get out of college, and I was in that same mindset myself. But there's nothing wrong with kind of taking time and figuring out where you actually want to go with your life, because you don't want to be stuck in a position where you don't love where you're at and you feel like you're stuck.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you share a pivotal moment or project from your early career that helped set you on your current trajectory?
Actually, I'd probably say being a product manager in IMC is the best example of that. Just getting more of that kind of real world-esque experience of managing a group of people, trying to develop a product from scratch, and figuring out the deliverables and the KPIs of that project and how it's actually aligning with the campaign and the goals that you set off when you first started it.
Yeah.
It's a really good experience. And being able to put that on a resume definitely helped me land my first position. And while that ended up didn't working out, the fact that I was able to actually land that position based off of those projects and those experiences that I had just really shows that the stuff works and it's really valuable.
Oh, nice. Okay, so then how does IMC differ from other classes? Like how does the skill set you develop, and I guess just the structure of the class, like how has that specifically helped you out?
The structure is kind of more the fact that there's more of a loose structure. There's no set real assignment guidelines aside from the blog post that you have to do and like creating your website. But as far as developing your own product goes, you kind of set your own parameters. You set your own assignment guidelines. You have loose deadlines to meet, but how you accomplish your goals within those deadlines is up to you. So I think it just goes to show how much flexibility there is in the real world when you're accomplishing some of those projects. Mm-hmm. And being able to actually, you got to think on your feet, you got to pivot, you got to be able to do stuff that you're not necessarily accustomed to being a student. Everything's very rigid assignment guidelines, and being able to just come up with a product from scratch and deliver upon that and then show how it's actually helping the marketing program. It's a really cool experience.
What do you think sets our school's marketing program apart from others, and how has it contributed to your success?
One of the biggest things that Western's marketing program focuses on is collaboration within your classes. Having smaller class sizes and doing more work that's focused on group projects really forces you to get to know your peers and learn how to function in a team dynamic with people that you most likely haven't even met before in your life. Maybe different personality types, different backgrounds. You have to learn how to put those aside and get the work done. I think that's what sets us apart. Just having that focus on being able to collaborate within teams. It's something that employers especially are looking for.
I don't really have experience at other schools, obviously, but one thing I've heard about schools like UW and like Wazoo is that the class sizes are just huge. Mm-hmm. And you don't get the same experience as you do, actually doing stuff like in IMC. Like I drove an hour and a half south to film this interview. The experience from that, actually producing content instead of just writing notes from a class, is super valuable. Mm-hmm. So I totally agree. Reflecting on your time in school, is there anything you wish you had known or done differently to better prepare you for your post-graduation life?
Oh, 1,000%. What I wish I would have learned is that you should never stop working and never get complacent. You should take the things that you learned from school and view them as building blocks. You need to keep building upon them, doing the extra mile, getting those extra certifications, doing more freelance stuff. Building your portfolio outside of your work in the class is just really going to set you apart. And that's something I wish I would have realized sooner.
So how can people really build their portfolio? Like, what are the ways that someone, say, if they're not affiliated with a club or anything, how could they do that?
I think going through LinkedIn Learning is a great way to do it. LinkedIn Premium, you just pay a little bit extra a month. You get access to a bunch of professional grade courses that'll teach you bunch of different certifications, a lot of stuff on different platforms. There's also a ton of different freelance platforms out there that you can use. I've been doing stuff on what's called Upwork, where companies will actually outsource to different people in more freelance capacities, like accountants, people doing marketing for them. And that's just a great way to do stuff outside of a classroom setting that you can put on your portfolio and put on your resume. It's like, no, I've done the work outside of the classroom. I know to apply what I've learned to an actual business.
Nice. Okay. So then what like specific stuff have you done on WeWork or Upwork, per se?
Just helping companies just with their like online presence, helping them with their Google business profile and their backends, measuring analytics through their websites, different KPIs. It just kind of depends on what they're looking for specifically.
Okay, cool. Sounds interesting. I'll have to check that out.
Definitely.
Looking ahead, what do you see as the biggest challenges and opportunities for marketers in the coming years?
It's just a very competitive landscape, and it's just going to keep getting that way. There's a lot more people graduating with higher level degrees than there ever were before, and being able to differentiate yourself is going to be really hard. So something that I wish I would have done sooner is put in that extra work. It's like get those extra certifications, build up your portfolio even more. And doing that now, while it might be tough and it's going to be long, it's going to be hard, it's really going to help you in the long run.
I myself do a little bit of portfolio building. I'm involved with like a team and a club on campus. And even for me, it is just insanely hard to land a single job. I've applied to, going on 40 internships now and have not heard a peep.
Yeah.
You haven't gotten it, just nothing back. Right. So even having all of that, you can still just not get anything, which goes to show you just how important it is. If I didn't have any of those, then it would just make it that much harder for me to advance in my field,
Mm-hmm.
What are some common misconceptions about working in marketing, and what advice would you give to students who are considering a career in this field?
I think marketing in some people's eyes has a negative connotation that we're only focused on helping companies reach their financial bottom line and try to push out as much product as possible. When in reality, what we're trying to do is analyze a problem that customers have and solve that problem through one of our services. If you are a person that enjoys working with people, working with numbers, which is surprising, I don't think a lot of people realize it's a lot of data analysis, and you're working in a collaborative setting, and you want something that has to do with business, and it's a lot of fun. Marketing is going to be right up your alley. You learn a lot about life as well.
I remember I was taking a psych class last quarter, and we had our weekly blog post where you have to write something and then respond to someone else's post. And this week's topic was about like social psychology tricks that people use. And a lot of posts were talking about how marketers use, psychological tricks to trick people into buying stuff. And, in class later, even the professor acknowledged that, marketers aren't just constantly trying to trick people into buying stuff. It's literally just trying to make your brand stand out as opposed to someone else's and solving a problem. So it's clear that that's a major misconception people have about this field. What was your favorite professor quote that you had at your time in Western?
Favorite professor quote probably comes from Dan. He always said that it's easy to go through the motions, but it's really hard to do the work. And I think that's just a really good way to view life, because you can go through the motions, you can put in bare minimum effort, and you can scrape by. But at the end of the day, you're not going to be setting yourself apart. You're not going to be actually doing the work that you need to set yourself apart from other people. And I think that's something that everyone should take to heart. You need to put in that extra effort. You need to take that extra step. It's going to suck right now, but you're going to be in a lot better place afterwards.
Mine is also from Dan. It was, you can't get out of it, so get into it, which I guess sums up at least 381 if nothing else, but also just life in general. You can't get out of it. You're still going to have to work, so you might as well give it all you got. What are the most useful electives you've taken at Western?
Most useful electives, I guess, would have to be digital marketing is a great one because you kind of learn kind of a really good broad scope of what the digital marketing field looks like currently when you're taking it. I think that's a really good way to kind of figure out maybe where you want your niche to be as a marketer if you're going to focus more on the digital aspect of things. And also, your LinkedIn looks freaking great afterwards as well. Those blog posts are awesome.
Yeah, I just made my, God, I don't even know how many I've done so far. Probably 7th or 8th blog post by now. And yeah, it definitely does.
Cranking them out half an hour before class.
Yeah, sometimes. yeah, man. I think if we can sort of sum up all the advice you've given, it's that you don't want to leave college with just that piece of paper, right? You want to leave with certifications. You want to leave with a portfolio that, has something in it. You want to leave with, experiences that you can look back on, saying, I'm glad I took that risk. It's really what you make of it, not unlike our marketing program in IMC. Absolutely. Thank you for being a part of this, Steinar. You have anything else you want to say?
Shout out Dan Purdy, the GOAT.
Shout out Dan Purdy, the GOAT. All right, this has been Marketing by the Minute. See you next time.